man.
All right, we got him.
We like to apologize.
For what?
To absolutely no one.
The two-time champ does absolutely fucking nothing.
All right, we live.
Good year for the West Coast, actually. Main Chafford Podcast, episode 269. Shouts out.
Ain't he in jail now?
He's done.
He broke his bail.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Well, lost it is the conditions of him staying out. It's actually episode 266.
Oh, wow. I got a bit ahead of myself.
There we have it.
Main Chafford Podcast, episode 266.
Come on.
The real is back. The real is back.
Yes, sir.
I am him. Himmy Neutron in the flesh.
He's him.
Two dems. I have to tell you every week to do your Googles, but listen, it is what it is. I'll tell you every week.
He's here.
Dancing, DK, watch Chef your back.
Wash him.
I'm gonna pass it to my partner. Pause.
Cole Sanusi, Don Cole in the building, one and only,
Yes, sir.
aka L. Coolins, aka C Note, aka Hollywood Cole, aka Dog Dad. Coming for your left there, your right there, surround sound, smart speakers, portable speakers, you name it. We know my house.
Yes, sir.
Episode 266. Let's be getting it.
Let's be getting it. I enjoyed that. Should we do it for you, man?
I am vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman.
Facts.
What's up?
Should we begin?
Let's begin.
Yeah.
No games.
No games.
GNX.
GNX.
Hey man, sometimes, you know what? This podcast should be called When I'm Right. Because we all individually have moments when we just deliver. And I think this project, we said it. We said, look, give us the victory lap stuff. Give us the fact that you're West Coast. You're not giving us a fully rounded West Coast project. I know we spoke about To Pimp a Butterfly having it in like sporadic moments,
yeah.
but this is West Coast. And he has delivered us. Kendrick Lamar, for people who don't know, has dropped a surprise project called GNX.
GNX mean?
That's the name of the car on the cover
Okay,
that he
good.
stood behind. Apparently, it's like a legendary car that was really fast back in the day, 1980s or something. It like beat like a Ferrari at the time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we've got a new project. What's the thoughts and feelings?
Initial thoughts and feelings was I did not enjoy that first listen. I think stylistically at times it was a bit hard on the ear, but the second time around I don't want to say I've come around to it, but I've got a new appreciation for it, shall we say. The songs on it that I really do like, and I think he respected my time. 12 songs, 44 minutes. I really appreciate that. And the highs are really high. For example, Peekaboo, The Heart Part 6, certain elements to turn the TV off. The intro is incredible. That's some of the best rapping I've heard this year. And I really like how he addressed everything. Nothing was left off the table. I mean, I said in the group chat, it feels like he recorded this last week. But, yeah, it was fantastic.
Okay.
Well, let me not say it was fantastic, but I enjoyed certain elements to it, which is, yeah, all you can take, really.
Okay. I think it's a good project. I have a bit of mixed emotions about it, kind of similar to you, maybe not so similar, but my whole sentiment is I enjoyed it, and I think it's a good project.
Yeah.
There's bits and pieces that sit with me well and certain things that don't. So for example, the first song, what he was saying was phenomenal. But and I typically don't complain about this when it comes to Kendrick, because I actually kind of like when he does different voices and different cadences. I do. But for whatever reason, the way he's rapping in the first song really annoys me.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's just his regular rap voice.
No, listen to it again. He's rapping like he's from the South, bro. It's not his normal voice. Okay, he's doing that like there's a twang to his voice. And if you hear it now, you won't be able to unhear it. I promise you.
Okay.
He's rapping in a way that I'm like, it's really distracting. I know you feel the same way about
Reincarnated. That was awful.
I promise you.
I don't think I'll ever listen to that again.
That's a great song, by the way. I promise you. Listen to the first song again. You won't be able to unhear the way he's rapping. He's rapping really weird.
I don't know. I
His
just listened to it
rapping
this
is
morning.
so weird.
I was like, this is phenomenal rapping.
Nah, his
really
voice sounds so weird.
He did his thing on that song. What is
He's
it, Whacked
talking-
Off? Or
Sorry,
what's the name of the song? The intro.
Whacked Off Mills.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
love.
insane.
I didn't love the way.
Whacked off.
Whacked Off is crazy. Whacked Out Mills. I didn't love the way.
Whacked off.
In the whacked off.
Whacked out.
I didn't love it. But I love what he was saying.
Yeah,
What he was saying
yeah,
was
yeah.
fantastic. And yeah, like it kind of. The thing is with me and Kendrick projects are. The reason why I like his music is like he takes his time to make stuff, right? And sometimes his betterment, sometimes his detriment. I think in this case, maybe there wasn't enough life to pull from to give us a full rounded Kendrick project compared to the rest, because I didn't feel there's the least amount of like impact I felt after listening to his projects. So every time I listen to his projects, once I'm first listening, I'm like, usually I'm just like, wow, that's a lot to unpack. Pause. Whereas this one, I don't feel like that. I'm just like, no, this is just good music. And like, I really fucked with the Heart Part 6 talking about his trial and tribulation with TDE, the fact that he's the reason why Black Hippie didn't happen. Him at his best for me is when he gets introspective and talks about stuff that happened and you know what's actually happening. So to your point, the first track and Black Hippie, sorry,
The Heart Part 6. I'm really pleased he took
phenomenal.
that back as well.
Really, really good. But then I also I stand by. I think Reincarnated is fantastic. When you look past
I don't know
what
how
he's
you
saying at the
can.
beginning, well, it is what it is. The second verse and the third verse is incredible because he's talking from a perspective of like God talking back to like, I don't know if it's like from Jesus or from the devil, but there's a lot of like religious symbolism going on there.
Yeah.
And every time he finishes a verse, what did I just press there? Every time he finishes a verse, he's talking from someone else's perspective. So from the second perspective, he's talking from a perspective of like, I think it's like from a like maybe like a, could be like a woman, a singer or something. The first verse is him like a guy who played the guitar. Third verse is him. Then it shifts to like, it's basically he spazzed out in that song for me.
Yeah.
What's it called? TV Off for me might be the climax of the album. That might be my favorite bit of the album. I can't lie.
Mustard.
He went Super Saiyan 3, bro.
He wanted the world to know.
The way he was rapping,
Yeah.
that song was crazy. That's my favorite song on the album, I think. Just for the pure audacity of it. Yeah, overall I enjoyed it. I don't know, I'll be honest, like sometimes we are a prisoner of the moment. And I remember saying a similar thing when Mr. Morale came out, that I don't know if this is his, it might be his worst album. But that's not saying that it's a bad album. It's just saying his standards are so high that I just can't look past those first 3 projects personally.
Yeah.
And I still feel the same way about GNX. It might grow on me. It's only been like a day. But I don't know. I put it closer to Mr. Morale than I do
100%.
Section 80 to Damn. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think
But
that's fair.
we'll see. I think it's a good. I'm glad he put out projects. I remember saying on this podcast that in order to cap off this year here, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be anybody else's. I need a project because people will start to diminish what the beef was about, what you stood for this year. If you have a project that comes along with it, no one can say anything to him anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's done this, and I'm glad we've got some good music for the
What was I
end of
gonna
the
say?
year.
Yeah, and there was some hilarious lines on there. That one directed at Snoop about the edibles, I was crying. I can't believe we posted Taylor Made.
But he didn't post it.
I don't think he did.
He posted a reaction
Yeah.
where it was like,
What the hell's going on?
yeah.
Hey, listen, them edibles be edible then.
I don't think it was that deep, you know.
Nah, nor did I.
But they all seem very angry about it.
No, I think that's a joke. I think he put that in as a joke.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
The
like, he
Wayne
was
stuff-
serious. He was serious about Wayne, but that particular bar, I think it was a joke.
But with Wayne, it feels like he's more sad about it than
Yeah,
at him.
As you would be.
Like, he loves
I've
Wayne.
been saying I'm really disappointed in the way Wayne's handled this.
I'm not. I feel like there's
No.
a reason why I'd feel like that though.
I'm 100% with you. And when Wayne initially dropped his reaction, I was with him. I was like, oh, you know what? I hear how you feel. Something's obviously gone on behind the scenes where he's been promised certain things, and I think they've not met his the promises. But with the one he did at Louisiana Fest, I was disappointed. I was like, come on, bro. And at no point have you congratulated K-Dot, who is one of your biggest fans. If you came with the attitude of, hey, listen, I'm really disappointed, because that happens in life, you know, but I'd still have the wherewithal to say, K-Dot, I know you're going to smash it, you know, you've been on an absolute tear this year.
But you can't do because of what's
What's transpired. I don't know. That second one at Louisiana Fest, I don't think needs to be said. They gave you a key to the city, maybe even two. They've given you a day, like, bro, where you're from, you're loved. Yeah, I can see why Kendrick feels the way he does, and I side with him on that.
Yeah, man, what are you saying?
The album's phenomenal, man. It's the classic.
A classic.
Instant classic.
Is that the name of the
Instant classic. When I was listening to the album, I was somewhat worried about the Spanish sample use. It threw me off.
right at the beginning?
Throughout the whole entire project,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
threw me off. But then, it was done beautifully. Squabble up.
Squabble up.
We had a discussion
Pre-recording?
pre-production.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah, pre-production. So we had a discussion about it pre-production, and I think for people like yourself,
Yeah.
that beginning part of Not Like Us video,
Yeah.
which of course is now called Squabble, a lot of people were hyped up to that, and so was I. And then when I hear the track, I love it. I mean, I love the track. Some people don't like it, and I hear it, but I think the project's
It's a
phenomenal.
crime. It's a
So
crime
far,
what you did.
It's done wonderful stuff. I love the way he took back part
Part
6,
yeah.
claimed it back. Yeah, I think that is phenomenal what he's done, taking back the Heart Part 6, and then using it because that's his whole series. That's his.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no
sure,
way he was going to let that man have that. That would have been
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
To do the Heart Part 7, I would have... What? No way.
Yeah, I mean it's almost like Carter 3, Bar 3.
Yeah.
Fuck. So, and now there's more understanding about the situation with fucking Wayne. But that's phenomenal.
There's so... I mean, yeah, we said this earlier. There's so much to talk about. I think
too much to talk about.
I think a good place to start would be, let's go through the track list. Can say what we did like, what we didn't like.
Part 6, Peekaboo, Squabble,
Peekaboo needs YG.
Luther.
No, but I think Peekaboo's...
Oh,
like
that's one thing I do want to discuss.
Dodger
though,
Blue's
in terms of-
ass.
In terms, Dodger Blues.
I can't remember how it goes. I listened to it earlier, but I don't remember it very well.
Is the fact that the idea of the West Coast being solidified by Kendrick. And I just feel that it's a bit off because you see people like YG who has been there from the beginning and really pushed that foundation for being the Blood, Pyro, I don't know what. He's a 400 Blood, that's what I know. He's a 400 Blood, that's what it is. So, him obviously pushing that whole tribe through and then putting that culture out there, I think it's phenomenal. With Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers, I don't think that element of the West Coast was pushed for people to say that, oh, Kendrick brought out the whole of the West Coast. I think this album kind of solidifies that conversation, but to say that he's the one that did it, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Because there's been a bunch of people who have pushed out
Done
West
it
Coast
more.
stuff, and I think
But it was a valid critique when Drake mentioned
Yeah.
it at the time. Like, people will now, in retrospect, say, "Oh yeah, he's doing it now," but it was a conversation point. It's not to cut you off, but that's I agree.
so. And then on top of that as well, so I think with this project, wonderful, phenomenal. Now he claims, of course, that he put the West Coast on. It's great.
Yeah.
Like I see it because the beef, then with Not Like Us. Come on, I mean, there's no discussion to have with that. But there is a whole foundation that was put before Kendrick
Yeah.
to get to this point. And I think with this album, of course, it's very West Coast, very, very, very West Coast. But yeah, but to say that on top of that as well, West Coast has had a phenomenal year altogether. If we look at DJ Mustard, Schoolboy Q,
Vince
Staples, Tyler the Creator, who else? I don't know about YG because his album didn't perform the best, but still, YG's put out a great project as well.
I wish he was on this project, you know.
Yeah,
Really?
I really wish he was on Peekaboo. Or there's another one that he should have been on.
I feel like
There's
Peekaboo's
two
fine
tracks.
as is.
There's 2 tracks that, like, in essence, are YG tracks. Because he's that mustard sound. You know what I mean? So I just feel like he would have fit perfectly onto 2 of those tracks.
He's obviously, I don't know who he's collaborated with, but I mean, the features he got
Hey
are
Now.
obviously up to a high
Hey
standard.
Now. Hey Now. Hey Now's the best song on it.
Really?
Hey Now. It's so, like, venomous.
yeah.
It's the way he just, like, approaches the track out of nowhere in, like, that lo-fi, like...
It's a bounce.
Nah,
It's
that
just a
song's
lovely bounce.
Hard. Jesus Christ, that song's hard. I need to listen to it in the car.
Yeah, nah, I'm
How,
impressed.
how does it sound in the car compared to earphones?
I haven't listened to it in the car yet.
Mm.
I'll listen to the warm up on the way here. But I need to listen. I'll listen to it on the way back for sure.
I know that shit's gonna jump. That's insane.
Nah, yeah, I got to.
It's only right. Now he should be really. He did the right thing. I feel like, as you said, it was a right approach to sounding off the year. Interesting choice to go when you got a Super Bowl. I thought we might have gone a bit more commercial, maybe something closer to Damn, but it worked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. This is definitely less commercial than Damn, but it's still like he done the right thing. I'm really, really glad he leaned into the
Yeah.
West Coast. That was the main thing I wanted to see, and he done that. So I can't really be mad at it. Let's just see how it ages.
Yes. Ages. I'm very interested to see first week numbers.
I think he'll probably do whatever he done on Mr. Morale. I reckon he'll do double. Yeah, I was gonna say that roughly around.
So that's about 600 then.
The whole world is looking at it now.
Mr. Morale did around two.
I thought it did 3 something.
I thought he did 3 something as well. I think it was projected for 350, but
Hey
the
now,
whole
hey
world
now.
is now looking at it.
The
It's
last
it's
one,
hip-hop.
Brit. You ain't on shit. Whew. I know that man is in hiding.
Should be.
Hmm.
They're not giving him any information.
But this,
Yeah, it did around,
think,
300.
I think Kendrick has done judge. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
How?
Because listen, bro, this year is just way too. You know what? He ain't done judge. He just prays to God.
He just had
And
a
this whole year is just phenomenal. From like that all the way up until now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this looks like someone who's planned this out methodically. Like, this weren't just some shit that just happened. Which, interestingly, could lead into the next topic. I don't want to just jump into it, but
We should.
them man running around that dickheads.
So
that,
Future.
That infuriated me.
Future's comments were the funniest.
I didn't know.
There was a beef? Who was beefing?
Oh God,
I don't
what are
believe
you
them.
doing? Do you know what? This is why it's going to be very interesting. I think now that Thug's come home, I think he's had a word. We've seen enough. I'm just speculating. We've seen enough to suggest he's a boogeyman. He puts out a tweet saying, Metro, Future, Drake, let's all make up. Oh, now there was no beef. I didn't know what they were talking about. Am I an idiot?
Of course.
I
And he
think,
tried
I
to
think
say-
I think he's talking about J. Cole. And
Huh?
Kendrick. I think he's talking about J. Cole.
No way.
Because Cole was on the second album. Kendrick was on the first. So it's like, I didn't know there was no beef.
He's
But to talk
obviously
about Drake,
he's capping to the oomph degree. Like I'm not an idiot. Don't take me for a muck. It's just not happening. I could not believe that's the comments he wanted to make. At least Metro acknowledged that him and Drake had an issue, and fair play. You know, people fall out, and we just had to watch it live.
one thing, man at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
That song reminds me of One Mic.
Now. Yeah, it's the same kind of
Yeah.
like
Of
way
what?
of rapping. No, it's One Mic.
One
Oh
Mic.
yeah.
Yeah, because it's exactly the same.
Yeah, it is pretty
It's
much.
exactly the same. It's just
He's very much a student of the game, which is
Yeah.
you know, one of the best things you can be. Learn from the best in order to be the best.
This shits and gigs. This Andrew Schultz. That was good to hear.
What did they do?
Do you not know about the shits and gigs situation?
No, I know
Shits and Gibbs basically said there's no bad things in Atlanta. Then they went on to thing.
That's an
Andrew
insane thing to
Schultz.
say.
And then they were like,
And then Schultz was talking spicy about
yeah,
black women.
black women. No, the black woman effect on white men.
Yeah.
And then why black men grow beards because they don't want to get slapped by. Yeah.
And then Kendrick addressed it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and
insane.
never let no white comedian do so on forth. One other thing that you said, mentioned on the first track, before we move on quickly, is
Go
like Drake was going around offering Bitcoin.
To what?
That's a great idea.
Drake was offering Bitcoin to people in Compton to try to find out information on Drake.
Giving out bit. Fam, I'm poor right now. I need to see it.
Yo, hey, Kendrick's funny, you know.
He is.
That's hilarious.
But I
It's
hear
the way
it.
he subtly mentioned it. I was like, I had to listen again. I was like, huh?
Aubrey's in trouble.
I'm taking that Bitcoin. I can't lie.
Oh God, what are you talking about?
That's
And I'm making
generational
stuff
wealth.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Like
gonna have
they
to
said,
understand that
they
one,
just
buddy.
made stuff up.
I would 100%. Listen, he got beat up by that corner. Never happened.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm. When I take that stand, get me chatting. I'll be on the. Yo, you won't
Kendrick.
believe it.
You can hold half of this. It's okay. Let me just make up anything. We got this.
You're
That's
so
crazy.
good you can respond to whatever he says anyway. I
For
trust
real.
you.
Let me make this bread right quick.
Ja.
But yeah, Future and Metro are looking crazy in the light. Let's be honest.
Nah, they're dumb.
Yeah.
Listen, they've obviously been given
Not even that.
instructions.
It was first Metro. Metro made a comment. I don't know. I think it was maybe on GQ. Where he
Nah,
said,
they were both. That's why they did the interview.
Oh, okay. They both
Who
did
is
interviews,
Future
but-
signed to? Atlantic.
Yeah, hold on, nigga.
He's under Sony, so somebody.
Oh,
under
is
Sony.
Future under Sony? Oh, because I was gonna say maybe Lucian gave him like, listen,
No,
patch this up.
No, I can't tell him shit.
Oh, fair enough then.
It's a different
Oh, what a time. So they're just doing this off their back. This is crazy.
I think they just blessed it behind the scenes, but they don't want to make it.
Well, I've
they
heard
make it
that Drake
public.
and Future are
sure,
friends
I'm
again.
sure they're fine.
Yeah, but I don't think. I
Plus,
don't think it was deep enough for Future and Drake.
no,
But
that
for
you,
everybody else.
you tried to destroy my life. It's
Yeah.
there's. I'm sorry.
Nah, he nah.
Nah, he said, and they succeeded. I don't care what anyone says. I've been saying for months. Drake is done.
No, it's not.
Okay. I don't know.
You could argue as much as you like, Demi, but Drake's not done. We can argue to the cows, to the heavens
in
run
what
down.
sense, though?
Drake isn't done.
You still think?
What? Present your argument, and I'll tell you why.
I don't think
not
he's
done.
getting 600 mil.
Who?
Drake
For what?
On the next re-up?
on the next re-up.
No one's giving. Why would Drake get 600 mil?
I think that's what he's. According to academics, that's what he's proposing.
600? But that's okay. His back
So he-
catalogue.
he-
I'm saying everything. I just don't know what as an artist he's gonna look like going forward.
We'll have to wait and see.
Especially after this project, I don't know. Like,
don't.
I think he's. Look.
What does done mean? How much will he sell if he puts out an album?
Oh, I'm not saying Dan is that he's just the person we've known him to be. It's not gonna look like that anymore going forward.
So, but does that mean you're done? What my question is?
Okay,
I'm
I
not
see
being
it, I hear
obtuse.
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
trying to.
No,
argue,
I
but
hear it.
What does done mean? You're gonna sell 10K next week and no
No,
one's
no,
gonna go to concerts
but
anymore?
he's not gonna fall off the face of the earth. Like he's still one of the biggest artists in the world. I just think the push that we've seen
the
him
magic
have.
he had before. Is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah,
of course.
100.
There's no magic now.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not saying
but-
he's gonna sell 10K, but I think his sales will be impacted. I don't know if he's got the wherewithal to have a redemption arc. I think he's in trouble. I don't think we can pretend he's not. Shit ain't hitting the same. Okay, you can say he's released it weirdly through plot twists. I have the ability to. I think people are being being harsher on him than they need to be, in terms of how things like No Face perform circadian rhythms. They didn't have a traditional release, but you still have to look at the evidence and say, since the beef, people have looked at him differently
Yeah, of
and
course.
are looking at him
Yeah,
differently.
100%.
shake
But
his
that
head.
is different to saying a man is done.
Clean.
You can't. It's one of those things. In my opinion, the way I look at it is, I think Drake is Nicki Minaj.
He went from
Huh?
feminine to max.
I think we're going to see a downward trajectory
I think
from
Drake-
here on everything.
How can you grow your hair for that amount of time and just say, alright,
I
people
think
are taking the piss?
Drake is Nicki Minaj.
No, but he shouldn't have done
You know
that. Why, go on?
The reason why I think Drake is Nicki Minaj is this. Nicki Minaj is still the biggest female rapper.
Mm.
Nicki Minaj is not liked. She's not. In it now, she's not liked.
Yeah.
For a long time, she was the number one. Everyone loved her. Public perception of Nicki Minaj is very negative now, unless you're a barb.
Yeah.
So unless you're OVO or OVO, whatever they call themselves,
OVO.
Drake is now in the zeitgeist of being unliked because you've been on top for so long.
Mm.
It doesn't necessarily mean man's not going to sell more than everybody else. Doesn't mean he's not going to be able to command the market the way he does. Because whether we like it or not, we've never seen in this industry, and I'm just saying in general, a man be this powerful or this big ever in hip hop or rap.
Michael Jackson.
And I caveat that with hip hop and rap, right? So to say that a man like this would then decline to the extent you're saying, in my opinion, I don't know. I've written this man off before just based on music,
Yeah.
and he's proved that he can still do it. And I'm
I'm
only giving him the benefit of the doubt until we see a project to see what he does. Because I feel like people are always going to be prisoners of the moment, and it happens all the time. Kendrick is having a fantastic moment, and nothing will rub that out. Kendrick's trajectory will remain the same.
Like COVID, you ain't gonna get over it.
You know what I mean? You can compare Mr. Morale to Damn. There's a decline there, but doesn't mean he's going to decline for the rest of his career. Of course not. Look at him now.
I just think he's taking too many shots. The problem is his character has been assassinated. That's the biggest issue. If me as a person, I'm not buying into everything that was said, but the masses have.
Have they do?
Do you know what? Actually, I apologize because maybe I'm too online and I just see and then I bring that here for discussion. But I do just feel like it was such a shot and he stripped him back so much. I just feel like I don't know. I think he'll have a hard time getting people's ear because they're gonna have the comments that will be made towards him, the way people view him. I think it will impact.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Maybe done is a strong word, but I'm like yourself. I'm very interested to see what happens when he properly releases something. Are the people gonna fuck with it? What's the like to dislike ratio gonna be?
All he's got to do is put out good music again.
Think
I'll be
both
honest
of
with
them
you.
are very much in the same situation where a lot of people have revealed themselves and how they feel about Drake and how they feel about Kendrick.
Yeah.
But the only difference is that Kendrick has won by a landslide.
Of course.
And as Demi said, his character's in question, which is wild. Because with Pusha T, it was just, you're a deadbeat dad, and you have no backbone, and you're light skinned. And then, fast forward, he was like, alright, cool, you're gonna say that about me, but listen, bro, like, I've done this. You know what? I don't even have to be the best rapper, I'm just the best artist. And he continued with that narrative all the way up until because of the Super Bowl. Did it very well, but now I don't think there is a narrative for him to hook onto anymore.
Yeah.
Especially because after first listen of the last few projects, it's like it's very much
Yeah,
it's a
there's
miss.
that. The music's been on the decline.
Though we view honestly Nevermind completely differently.
Yeah, of course.
Other people just say that album is just a shambles.
He's been like people are gonna combine two things together. They're gonna combine the fact that the beef is happening with the fact that Drake's on that this is diminished Drake. But if you kind of open your eyes a little bit and look at the bigger picture, Drake has been on the decline prior to the beef.
Yeah.
That's just
But that's what I'm saying. That's it's just it might be too many things to try to come back from. Is how I feel. You were already on the decline. Your quality of your music. So people, I'm already not like thinking to check for you because I just know it's probably gonna be bad. And then this beef, like you lost. This was a nuclear bomb. That whoever lost this was not coming out the same.
I think Kendrick would have been okay if he lost this.
That's a
stuff.
great.
I don't know.
It's
so.
a nuclear bomb, but Hiroshima's still up.
I don't think.
Like,
It took a long time to get to that point, and
Yeah.
I don't. The reason why Hiroshima's up is because I praise Japanese intelligence and resilience. I don't know if Drake has either of those things right now.
What he lacks is self-awareness. Hence why I call him Nicki Minaj. Him and Nicki are basically the same person. When Nicki was on a decline, she doubled down on being a dick.
Yeah.
Drake is still posting steak. Drake is still posting him doing the duck memes. Drake is still doing everything he was doing prior.
But this is it. Like, the brand ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna sell. You have to think he's a person and he has to sell his music. If he continues in this vein, no one's gonna rock with it. I just can't see how he returns from this. And the numbers will look different. I just don't see how they can't.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, if he could put out quality music at least to the level of No Face, then
I don't even think No Face is even a bar to go off compared to what Drake.
yeah, no, I know. But what I'm saying is, I need the music to at least be at that level. That everyone that I've seen commentate on No Face has been like, it's a good track. But if even something like that can fall flat, like I didn't even know the video for it released.
Yeah, but
Are they even putting the dollars behind him that they want to work? I don't know.
I'm sure they are, bro. Listen, when it comes to the money, that's not even a thing. I think with Drake, all it comes down to is whether or not he decides to confess and be the Drake that we all like, or continue to be this weird version of Drake that's manifested over the past 4 or 5 years. And we'll have to wait and see. But I think I don't really want to even get into the Drake thing because that is what it is. But I think there's been a really good past couple months for hip hop.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, so Tyler the Creator put out an album as well. Have you guys listened to it?
Chromakopia. Yeah.
I was listening to it in Hong Kong, yeah, and then I walked into a temple. All I hear is, I don't give a fuck about the pronouns. I'm that nigga and that bitch. I'm like, alright.
It's good.
Then
Sticky.
And then, bro,
What
people are
performance was
going into
Gorilla?
this temple, and I'm hearing bum 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 bum. Bum. I'm like, hi. I'm really vibing to the album, and people there trying to pray.
Yeah.
I'm like, hi. But yeah, no, I mean,
Get sticky in this bitch.
I like the album.
Yeah, I think it's decent. I don't think it's as good as
Nah, it's not.
the previous two, but I do like the fact that he's more vulnerable on it. I do like the fact that I think his rapping is probably better on it, ironically. But there's something missing. I think there's a bit too much going on and not a lot of direction, because a lot of his old stuff, if you
I
take
feel like
Eagle,
that's cohesion. I'm not really too sure what he's trying to get at. It's clear someone's pregnant, or there's a story.
just clear someone's pregnant is a funny sentence.
He's trying to get some form of message across. I don't know.
I see the message. I think the message, what I get from it is that he's obviously, like, if you look at the cover, he's clearly hiding behind this facade and this thing that he's created over the past few years, and he's trying to be as more open as possible. That's why he was saying he loved Mr. Morale so much, because he felt like Kendrick really stripped it back. So it's his attempt of a Mr. Morale. My problem is that for somebody as meticulous as him, the sums don't equal the parts. So if I look at the cover, if I look at the visual, if I look at what even is Chromakopia, none of it really, in my opinion, meshes well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take an Eagle, man was wearing wigs and he was just on an R&B thing, and it was very, very straightforward. Call me if you get lost. I've made peas now. Look at me. I'm going across the world. I'm messing with this girl who's in a relationship, but I don't care about that. It was very much concise. Flower boy. I'm coming out the closet. Pause. But you get my point. This project for me was a bit. You're right. It's a bit too messy.
Yeah, it was a bit messy.
But I do like. There's some
highlights
really
for sure.
good standout moments in there that I think was worth mentioning, and he sold a ton.
Yeah, he
which
did.
is
But
which is
you know what?
incredible.
And also, I'm gonna just say it off rip. I just like the album because of the stuff he did with it. It was nice to see a lot of things you don't see anymore, like a rollout that felt expensive. You can tell a lot of thought had been put into the rollout at least, and then to decide to drop on a Monday and still sell, like you said, a ton. That it didn't impact him.
That is truly phenomenal. The fact that he only had 5 days of sales compared to 7 and done 300.
Yeah, fantastic. And that's hit. Once you're starting to sell like 300,000, you're them at that point. He's up there.
He's there.
One day we'll need to have a discussion about units, downloads, streams, and rarities.
Yeah.
Because none of this makes sense to me.
So it's
if you listen
now.
to one album, wouldn't you consider that to be a purchase?
No.
But it's even more cooked now because it's all bundled. So, for example, his sales he only done 150k worth of sales / downloads, and the other 150k was merchandise, which is impressive in its own right.
I think that's actually more impressive because what now? I've got to buy a T-shirt and the album. I just want the T-shirt.
Depends how you look at it, but for the most part, I agree. Like, you can even link it to the... I mean, Travis is Mr. Bundles, everybody says this, but his last album was 90% bundles, so 90% merch.
Utopia?
No, sorry,
Astro.
Days Before Rodeo. So 200 of it was...
Oh, what? That
pure.
cheeky bullshit that they tried to...
And
pull.
only
Bollocks,
50,000 of it was real streams.
Ain't no way he beat Sabrina Carpenter by a K, or lost her by a K. That was insane.
Well, he lost because he didn't sell enough... Well, he sold too much merch, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was 90% merch.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting. Which makes sense, though, because it's a 10-year project.
Of course. When they were saying it was neck and neck was short and sweet, I was like, I'm not buying this. Sabrina Carpenter's the hottest thing out right now.
Yeah, if you look up Pure, it's not even close.
Psh, come on. Don't do
But it's
that to
interesting.
Espresso.
When you look within the numbers, like you're saying, man, it becomes more of an interesting prospect. Obviously, the calculations kind of fugazi and bullshit, but it's very interesting to know which artists lean into, like, selling you versus the ones who just... Like, Future, for example, 99% streams. He's not going to sell you merch because you can't be asked. Similar to Drake. Taylor Swift's going to sell you merch and stream.
So is it a case of if I buy a ticket, can I get that in the bundle to, I don't know, Eras Tour?
I think the US rules are different to UK, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if we can even do that here. I'm just thinking, because I know if she did it based off of ticket sales,
So US, I think you can use ticket sales. The UK, you can't use ticket sales.
no one would have a chance.
But yeah, no, it's... For Tyler, I'm impressed. Like, he's still doing that, even though this one probably isn't as critically acclaimed or like a classic compared to Igor and the rest. He's still going in that direction, which is awesome to see.
I mean he's now a star. Yeah, and there's the argument that is he overtaking the likes of a J. Cole, for example. I saw the JBP had an interesting discussion about it. I say no, but they made a decent argument for it.
J. Cole raps better than Tyler the Creator. End of the story.
Oh, 100%. But they were looking at everything.
Projects. If you want to say who has more classic albums,
I think they're going one for
I think
one.
they have one apiece. I agree.
Yeah.
J. Cole has better mixtapes than Tyler, and I was listening to Tyler's old projects recently, funnily enough.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Because I wanted to remind myself about
that would have been
what
torture.
he used to say.
I'm a fucking walking paradox.
Goblin is crazy. He only really started to kind of get into his bag on Wolf, and Wolf is really good. Wolf is an amazing project, by the way.
That
Wolf
Odd
is
Future
so
run
good.
in
I
the
couldn't get with it
2010s.
because of the Jesus.
Well,
But he stopped that on Wolf though. Wolf, he actually became more. I say sentient.
But the thing is, it was
More
too
normal.
late for me. I only
Goblin
started
catch that.
like after Cherry Bomb. That's when I caught on. Then
Cherry
there was
Bomb is just...
Goblin's
was-
Goblin's a Eminem album. I swear to God.
really.
I swear. I listened to it 2 weeks ago. Demi, you'd hate Goblin if you listened to it today. It's
There's
basically
Cherry
Eminem.
Bomb. Then there's
I don't know how people
Scumfuck
listen to
Flower
Eminem
Boy.
growing up, honestly. He's got a song with DMX, obviously he does. What's the difference? I can't believe he was able to say that stuff about his wife.
Yeah, he got away with a lot of crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
it's crazy. So it's what was he saying? Goblin. Listen, I love those
Cherry Bomb.
I entered with Cherry Bomb,
I didn't like Cherry Bomb, you know.
Scumfuck Flower Boy.
Great album.
Yes.
I mean, since
Then that's when
you entered at the best point of.
and then but the thing is, it was just like I'm not trying to listen. Like Tamale was nice. Then I was like, okay, maybe, but I'm not convinced. Then I listened to that. I was like, okay, cool. I like.
Then he
this.
got into his bag after that.
Then he got into his bag. Then Igor, I'm looking at the front cover. I'm like, what is this guy doing? then I just hear the album. I'm like,
Phenomenal.
vibes. Love
Everything
Phenomenal.
on Ego worked, man.
That is a classic album.
Yeah,
I'll
100%,
die by it.
man.
I'll die by it. I can't lie.
That was incredible. When we like, because we all had a mutual like, obviously listened to it around about the same time, and we were just all like, I can't believe Tyler the Creator's created this.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
They really.
Yeah.
This is the same way I oddly feel about Gunner, the one where he's underwater. I was like,
Triple Drown 2.
yeah, like what the fuck? This is
Oh, no, great.
this is incredible music. Where
Yeah.
where has this person been?
Yeah, facts.
Come on, and Triple Drown 2 does not. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
man.
doesn't get talked about enough. He's incredible. I really rate him.
Before we go, I really want to quickly just mention Freddie Gibbs. I just want to say his name.
I listened to the album one time. I was on the plane, so I was sleepy, not sleepy.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
This guy hasn't missed in 10 years, bro.
Yeah.
Who is he
But
working
the
with?
thing is, I
producer-wise?
can't really give a real account because I was phased in, phased out.
Which is fair.
Yeah.
There's no one producer on this one. He had quite
Oh,
a
okay.
few.
Because I know he normally tends to do that.
Sometimes when you listen to someone consistently over years, you don't realize how much you listen to them. And I can comfortably say over the past 10 years, he's been my favorite rapper.
Really?
Like very, very
Yeah.
comfortably. Yeah.
Wow.
I can see why.
This
yeah.
project is just another like 9 out of 10 project for me. He hasn't missed.
So what is he doing that's like different to his peers?
He just raps really, really well. He has an incredible ear. So he can float between the West Side Guns of the world, but then he goes back to the grimy like side of like boom bap raps. But then he also goes like soulful samples. Basically, he works with the best. Works with Alchemist. Works with what's his name? Madlib.
Yeah.
And then they get the best out of him.
Yeah.
And since Pinata, up until You Only Die Once, honestly, I don't think there's been a better run. I'll say it like comfortably. He's been my best rapper of the pop. From 2014, very specific time frame. From 2014 to 2024, in my opinion, I ain't putting no one above him.
Why do you think he's not as established an artist then in that case? Did he have a situation that like blocked his development?
Signed to Young Jeezy, didn't work.
Huh?
Yeah.
Fell out with Young Jeezy.
Why would you? Why? What the fuck?
I don't know. Fell out with Young
Let me
Jeezy.
see. Who's Young Jeezy again?
But then he became way more
Wow.
like Jeezy. Then he just kind of took it left and didn't really want to ever become mainstream.
Yeah.
Put out Pinata. That's what made everybody love him. And then from there, he just put out a project every
okay.
single year. And he honestly, Bandana, Alfredo.
Yeah.
There was something else he put out in the meantime as well. And this project, sold separately. Honestly, my favorite rapper right now, man. These just
Yeah, I know who
incredible.
Jeezy is.
Are you missing something?
We might be.
Cause that what's it?
I might be.
Who was it Neil Long that Jeezy was talking to? It
Yes.
was, and he was like, "Me as a man, I can never cheat." I hear it. If Neil Long's in front of you and you think, I could,
Because she just came out of a situation
yeah, 100.
where a guy just cheated.
So obviously I'm saying that if I think I've got a chance here. That's I know J. Cole threw up when she said he wasn't too young for me.
J. Cole's a funny man.
I would have tore the house up.
Have you man listened to his podcast?
I'm not doing it.
Incredible listen. And he's putting out all these projects. So he put out the warm up yesterday. So I'm assuming in the next 3 days, Friday Night Lights are gonna come out as well.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
So what's he?
excited for that.
What's
That's
he?
good, that's
What's the
good.
conversations he's having on there?
He's just talking about everything he done to get to where he is. And it's just like there's been so many different things that he never mentioned before. Like he almost got signed by 50 Cent. So he went to see Yayo, and then Yayo was like, "This is sick," and took him to 50 Cent's crib.
And what did 50 say?
He liked him, but obviously there was other interests as well.
Yeah.
It's if you ever have a time, I'm sure it'll become. So he's charging for it at the moment. It'll become free eventually.
50
Oh,
So it'll
cents.
be a really good listen. Honestly,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah, I paid for it.
Oh wow, you're a fan.
Bro, listen, J. Cole's
Nah.
basically like my favorite. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
when it's all said and done. Obviously, I love Drake and I
Yeah,
love
50
Kendrick,
50
but,
Cent
yeah.
said J. Cole was amazing. It just
Oh.
wasn't for the time. That's all.
I'll come get you.
Oh.
What? Just stay where you are. Bye. Yeah.
And on that note,
Nah, listen. We got a special guest coming in.
Judy Carls.
You man wrap up whilst I go get our guest.
The song of this week for me is Peekaboo.
Good choice. The song of this week for me is Charlie XCX 360. What a pop princess, man.
Say less. My choice this week is Kese Dance by Wizkid.
Okay. Wizzy Kid.
Quite a good album. Listen, man, there's too much to discuss.
Too much to discuss.
Too much.
Too much.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us on another audio adventure. We'll see you next week with our special guest from the States. Hopefully Eman doesn't scare her off.
I'll try not to, man. I'll try not to.
Trump, baby.
MAGA country.
We out.